Okay, golfers, we're looking today at the strongest position you could get in your golf swing to make you play effortless golf. Lots of sound bites there, but basically what we're looking to do is if we can get the golf club in the right place here, it enables us then to be very productive and very efficient naturally through impact. And it doesn't kind of matter what we do prior to this. If we can get this position correct, the rest becomes really easy, to be honest with you. It becomes very natural, very easy. And that's what we're going to work on today. A couple of things, a couple of thoughts that are going to allow you to do this effortlessly. Kind of unfluffed, uncensored, very easy thinking. So a couple of visuals here, just alignment rods, and I've got hackmotion here to measure my wrist position. What I want you to think about is when you get to the top of your backswing, if we get the golf club and we get it down kind of on top of this rod here and try and feel our knuckles go to the floor. Now when my knuckles go to the floor there, this wrist is in what we call flexion or bowing to a number of about minus 30 round numbers. It's around minus 31. If I get down there and I have my knuckles kind of up, that number is minus 4, which still isn't very bad, to be honest with you, but it's definitely not the same as that kind of minus 30. Now what we want to do is try and get this golf club as strong as we possibly can in this position so that we can then just effortlessly turn, raise the handle and extend through the ball, and the rest becomes easy. The more closed the position of the club face is in this area, the more we can then rotate through the ball rather than try and use our hands through the golf ball. Now you might say, well, if we don't use our hands, will we not get any speed? We're still going to be unloading the lever to get the club onto ball, which is effectively using your hands, but it's not kind of flapping your hands, which is very different. So we're basically trying to widen and lengthen the arc a little bit like this and go into our what I call the inline position to create that speed and the release of your lever system. We're not flapping the club face at it to square it up. So terminology wise, what we've talked about there, flexion. Flexion basically is this movement, extension's this movement. So we're looking, if we get from the top of our backswing to get the golf club on the inside, knuckles to the floor, and we get somewhere in the area of minus 30 degrees with our wrist. The number you won't be able to tell unless you have this technology or device, but if you just think about where your knuckles are going, and that plane will get there pretty much every single time. And you could put a T in your glove and point that T as near as you can to the ground, and that would also be a way of you seeing it and feeling it and use it as a task to get the same positions. Now this rod here is roughly on our ball to target line. This one's off at some kind of like 30-40 degree angle. It doesn't have to be precise. The key thing is what we want to do is make sure that club head is kind of behind the hands, the center of mass here is behind the hands, and the knuckles are to the ground. That's what we want to try and train. Top of the swing, rehearse that, knuckles to the ground. Then when we go and hit a golf ball, if we can feel we're going to do the same thing, that'll be all groovy. So that one there, you might be able to see we're down, quite considerably down there in that delivery position, looking at the graph. If we look at the tiles, at contact I was minus 15, which is great for me, and 10 degrees at the top, which is about right for me. So it goes from 15 degrees at setup, slightly less at the top, at 10 degrees. And again, my mate who's a big 3D expert, works with a lot of tour players. He says you shouldn't really much more than 10 degrees at the top. Minus 15 to minus 18 to minus 20 is what I'd see at contact with really elite ball strikers. So they're certainly better ball strikers than me, but minus 15 there for me would be absolutely great. We'll have a little look at my swings and see what we think of my swings while I'm producing that. But that was just purely rehearsals. Now, let's see how you could break it down, maybe to practice this a little bit more intensely. So what you might do if you were practicing is work it down to this position, knuckles to the ground, and then from there, okay, can I just hit a little shot away, trying to make contact with the ball? It's very difficult, but you're training that position. So what you might do is start with 10 of those, then do 10 with really in-depth rehearsal swings, and then 10 just normal shots. But try and do the rehearsal swing before every shot, but maybe just do it a bit slower, a bit more intense, and relax that amount of intensity as you get to more normal shots. So basically, getting this position pretty much allows us to work through the golf ball as all the great golfers do. So if you want to play great effortless golf, give this a go.